Hello everyone, this is Kuroda giving you a shoutcast, and now game 4 in the series. Yes, game 4 in the series. If you guys want to know what happens, please watch the previous games. As this is game 4, this is taken from the WCS American Playoffs, I believe. It is a best of 5, and obviously one of these players has a 2-1 advantage. Let's go ahead and take a look at these players. On the top left-hand side of the map, we have Liquid Taeja spawning as the red Terran. On the bottom right, we have CM Storm Polt spawning as the blue Terran. Terran versus Terran matchups, and the game has really evolved into a lot of heavy harassment. Banshee play has become much more popular, as we've seen in the first 3 games of this series, trying to shut down any sort of economic advantage that one player may have over another. Now, let's see what these players are going to be doing. Will they be going for a fast gas, or will they go for a barracks first? We've seen both of these strategies. The only thing we haven't seen is a command center first, which would most likely be very, I would say suicidal in a map like this, just because of how heavy and fast that harassment has been coming. If you get caught off guard with a fast expansion against Cloak Banshees, you really are at prey to the micro of your opponent. And at this level, we've seen one Banshee get into 10 to 12 Marine kills, even with scanner sweeps going across the field. We can see a refinery now coming in from Polt. And yes, Polt is going to be going for perhaps a different variation of the similar build as Taeja. This does mean that Polt should have a command center faster, but he will also be a bit behind in terms of Banshees, Cloak, and perhaps even Widow Mines. We saw what instrumental plays one Widow Mine can make in a game like this. Polt is going to be benefiting from a faster economy, since he is getting his orbital command that much faster. As we see, it is going to be about a 15-17 second difference. Yes, there it is right there. The time it takes to train up one SCV, as minor and small as it is, it does add up over time. Now, we are still waiting to see when the factory from Polt will be coming down. You know that he is a bit delayed here, as he is now calling down mules and trying to catch up, or not catch up, try to maintain his economic lead and perhaps throw down a refinery right after this. Alright, Marine on the high ground, able to shoot any SCVs trying to come in right there, a little bit of an advantage. Now Terran has that cliff right there as well, trying to shoot down any SCVs if they do in fact come up that ramp. So far, double refineries for Taeja, also double refineries for Polt, and this is going to be this will start to cut it close now, as the factory is being built by Polt. Meanwhile, the starport has already been started, and Taeja, already starting with that tech lab, will be able to lift off and land that starport right in that position. Now, we've also seen players add on a reactor onto that barracks to get double Widow Mines, or at least one Widow Mine. Widow Mines are a unique aspect in Heart of the Swarm, because they're not gas intensive and they're very effective against cloaked Banshees. We're going to see perhaps a Widow Mine now being trained. Let's take a look at what's going to be happening here. We're going to see the liftoff and the land here in just a moment. We are going to start to see Cloak being researched, and let's see how much it is going to be. Cloak is now being researched. It is 100, 100, and that Banshee. So yes, dropping the cost of Cloak, really opening things up in terms of TVT play, as we're also seeing a similar build coming in from Polt. Now, the difference here, that 100 gas, those Banshees will be making their way out here in just a moment. And how is all of this going to go down? Taeja, if he finds and shoots down a Banshee before it is cloaked, that is going to be an absolute huge play. And I believe that's how, actually, I'm not going to give any spoilers. We can see that both sides pretty much training very similar things now. But no Widow Mine coming in from Polt, surprisingly. No Widow Mine. Perhaps he's actually going to go for a flat-out Raven. And we've seen Ravens used extremely effectively here in TVT. Seeker missiles no longer needing upgrades, meaning that one Raven can easily go up against one siege tank if time has evolved. All right, let's take a look at this. Cloaking field needs about another 15 seconds. That means that in 10 seconds now, there's going to be a 40-second window where there is cloak and no cloak. All right, Widow Mine is now down. Oh, There goes the Widow Mine, and there goes the Banshee. The Banshee does see what's up, and there is the Cloak now, taking down a couple of those units. All right, the Marines trying to chase, but not wanting to do take too much damage there. And you can see there's a scanner sweep as this one Banshee already up to 5 kills. Meanwhile, this Banshee off over here, hoping to get some shots down, and there goes a couple of easy units as well. This Banshee now looking to back off, and you can see Taeja already with his own Raven, and there you have it. The Raven is now out, but the Raven is a bit slower compared to that Banshee. That Banshee has what, 0.5 movement speed faster, and that Banshee is just backing away and is going to be able to hide off there. Meanwhile, this Banshee up to 2 kills only, now being forced to try and take down a supply depot. Oh, using that range and that cliff so well. However, we are going to be seeing a Viking now make its way over. The Banshee needs to book it out of there. It doesn't need to outrun the Viking. It needs to outrun the Raven, and that's all it needs to do. The Raven is a little bit slower by about a half a step there, as this Banshees are going to be passing each other. They're going to be comparing kill numbers 10-3, as Polt does lose a little bit there. SCV now being brought over to repair this supply depot. Command center finally being upgraded by Polt. Well, Polt is a little bit behind here. He's not going to have his orbital command in position. He's not going to have the necessary upgrades. Also, down by 2 workers. And you can see that with the additional Viking that Taeja has on the field, the units, I believe, is just, no, it's... What is the variation here? The variation is... how come it doesn't say any side has a... no, the Raven's right there, so... Oh, the difference in a siege tank. So Polt has a siege tank just in case a ground army does come in. Meanwhile, production tab is showing siege tank still coming in from Polt. Meanwhile, it is going to be bioplay coming in from Taeja. And Taeja... may catch his opponent off guard here. We all see how effective bioplay is against a slow-moving Terran tank army. Unless there is so many tanks that it doesn't matter how many Marines are coming in, they just turn into a giant meat grinder. Production now showing a lot of Marines still being added here, and Taeja really hoping for the short game. Polt really hoping for the long game, as those siege tanks are better in mass numbers against mass Marines. After a while, it doesn't matter how many units are on the field. The siege tanks will just blast them apart, especially if they do not have combat shield like many of these units do. I don't believe the red Terran army, no, Taeja isn't even bothering with combat shield either. Instead, getting stim packs and now throwing down 2 more barracks. Alright, in comes the Banshee. The Banshee, however, quickly shot down there. Let's take a look at the losses. Losses are about even, 450 to 600. Only 150 resources between the two of them, as there is a 42 to 41 SCV harvester advantage. Production tab still shows some SCVs being trained. It looks like Polt is going to catch up here in just a moment. Oh, the Banshee has to be careful. It looks like it is going to cloak and get away. Oh, it needs to get away. There's one Marine right there trying to get off some easy shots. It looks like, yes, the Marine is sacrificing himself to save that lone Banshee. That Banshee perhaps should already be repaired. Not quite sure what it's doing off over here. Just sitting here stationary and wasting cloak energy. Coming back around. There are 2 siege tanks there, 5 Marines right there. The Banshee still cloaked. Perhaps should decloak right now, start getting up more and more energy. Perhaps even trying to get repaired would be a very safe call. There is a couple of Marines there, and it looks like that Banshee is going to try to go off some kills. Is it going to be able to do anything? There's 1 kill there, up to 5, but that is not very many, as we're now looking at another Marine taken down at the Zelnaga Tower. Alright, Taeja does have a significantly larger army, about 15 to 18 resources. Marines are all in position. There is, oh, what is this Seeker missile onto Polt's siege tank? There it goes, beautifully played, as there is 1 siege tank left. That 1 siege tank being taken down was a huge blow, as Taeja is able to push in much further than Polt expected. Alright, the Marines are now just simply walking in here. Siege tank not going to even siege in time, as the SCVs and the Marines are battling it out. This is going to be an absolute destructive battle here, as this Marine army just walks into the park, taking down pretty much everything. There goes a whole bunch of SCVs. SCVs do not counter Marines with stim, combat shield, and 1-0 upgrades. There's the GG, as we now go into the final game in this best of 5. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Once again, thanks to WCS for releasing these replays. And I am not meaning to do any disrespect to NASL for originally casting. I'm hoping you guys had a hard time trying to find these games and have instead come to my channel. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed Game 4. Please stay tuned for Game 5.